Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakhattvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the Panchadashi, chapter 1, and we are at the sloka 28. Let's chant that. We just completed 28. Tairandastatra bhuvanam bhogya bhogasrayodbhavaha bhoga bhogasrayodbhavaha hiranyagarbhastulesmin dehe vaishvanaro bhavet. So Taihi, these essentially the five subtle elements have after grossification or become the gross matter, and with that gross matter all the 14 lokas have been created by Udbhavaha, by Ishvara, because what kind of creation has to be done is he knows based on the total vasana of all jivas of all lokas put together forms a basis for his creation. He doesn't create according to his own whims and fancies, he creates according to the vasanas of all jivas. So his hands are tied because of the demand for that kind of bhogayatanam, for that kind of enjoyment of those objects. Enjoyment includes suffering also, depending upon the karmas of the individuals in each loka. So bhogya bhogashrayodbhavaha, so the objects for enjoyment, and also you need the equipment to enjoy also. So even the gross matter also, the bodies are also be created, and those bodies are suitable to enjoy in each loka. So different lokas have different types of bodies, because those are the bodies are required to enjoy that bhogas in that loka. And the same way for the depending upon the vasanas. So Hiranyagarbha Stulesmin Dehe Vaishvanaro Bhavat. So from the Ishvara, when you come to the subtle, it comes to the Hiranyagarbha, and from the Hiranyagarbha, when it comes the grossification, now the total, that is whole thing is pervaded by essentially is the Vaishvanaraha or Virat Swarupam. That is essentially the whole Lord with all the 14 lokas of all devas and rakshasas and everything. That's what you see in the Vishwarupa, that in the 11th chapter of Gita Krishna shows. Now what happens to the Jiva now is being discussed in the next sloka. This is now sloka 29. Taijasa Vishvatam Yata Taijasa Vishvatam Yata Devatiryagnaradayaha Te Paragdarshina Pratyaku Tattvabodha Visarjitaha. Together. Taijasa Vishvatam Yata Devatiryagnaradayaha Te Paragdarshina Pratyaku Tattvabodha Visarjitaha. So Taijasa Vishvatam. So now we are talking about the individual level. We talk about individual level at the Karana Sharira, at the causal state is called Prajnaha. Now at the subtle bodies level, at Antakarana level, that is called the Sukshma, the causal Sharira, Karana Sharira level, we call it Prajna. At the Sthula, the Sukshma Sharira level, at the subtle body, we call it Taijasa from the individual point, Vyashti point. Samashti point, we already said Ishvara and the Hiranyagarbha and the Virat or Vaishvanara. Now at the individual level, says Taijasa is Vishwatam Yatha. So Vishwatam is become Vishwa, has become, the individual is called Vishwa at the gross level. So Deva Tiryak Naradaya. So what kind of bodies are there depending upon the nature of the punya and papa. So to enjoy only the punya, more higher punya and less papa, then you are in the higher lokas. And as you come down, the papa is more and the punya is less. So at the middle level, the punyam and papam obviously are balanced, and therefore it is like a pH value. You have 14 pH above and below, and water is neutral. The same way, the neutral means it's a punya and papa are of equal proportion, and that's essentially the nara, the human beings and all that. So in the higher lokas, because of higher punya, they are enjoying in the deva lokas, and that's what Taittiriya Upanishad describes. Anandas of different levels is 100 times more than the one unit of ananda that a human being can have. So Taijasa Vishwatam Yata Devaha Tiryak Naradaya. Tiryak is essentially animals and the nara, human beings. Or one can look at in the earth itself, you have varieties of jivas. You have the one where papam is more but punyam is less. You are born as the lower forms of jivas, where you have to only, you cannot have will to add. There is no intelligence there. Intelligence is required sattva guna. So sattva gunam is less, and tamo guna and rajo guna are more. That's why you are born in the plant life or animal life, and varieties in the animal. You have an evolution, anatomical evolution is there. By the way, just for the heck of it, Vedanta does not negate the Darwin's theory of evolution. We have no problem, because there is an evolution, anatomical evolution is there, from amoeba to more complex and complex animal body is there. And what body you occupy, Atma occupies, depends upon your vasanas. So individual evolution, jiva evolution is different from anatomical evolution. Anatomical evolution, we have not only this, we have devas also, deva bodies and other bodies. We are much higher and higher depending on, also even lower also, tamasic bodies are also there in the lower lives also. Just as in the world also, in this world, where in the Bhuloka, also you have varieties of bodies depending upon how the evolution. So we have no problem in the Darwin's theory of evolution, but we don't accept that an evolution of a being, it's an evolution, anatomical evolution. Whereas the evolution of an individual depends upon how he enters into the body. That's what the Upanishad says. He enters into a particular body, into the womb of something. How does he enter? What does it determine? Depending upon his vasanas. And he takes the body to express his vasanas, and if you have to express your vasanas only in that particular body that can be expressed, then you take that body. And you can even take a detour from a human being, you can go to an animal level and come back again, because the detour helps you to get rid of some vasanas which cannot be exhausted otherwise. So we have in the Upanishad, one sage got so much attached to the deer, he became a deer in the next life, but with the knowledge also, because he has predominant sattva guna. Only a detour he has to take in order to come back, but he evolved rapidly also from that point. So they call Jadabharata story. And that means the evolution can go up and down depending upon what body. Not that human beings will not become anything. If you behave like an animal, better in the animal body is better suited for you than a human, because you are not behaving like a human being. And that's essentially, if you are worse than animal, then you go to even worse than animal also. That's what essentially Deva Tiryak Naradaya Te Parag Darshinaha Pratyak Tattvabodha Visarjitaha. In what way they are different from the Ishvara and the passes? He says Ishvara has a knowledge of the totality and also knowledge of the Atma Swarupam is also there. So he knows himself and he knows everything also. So he is a Sarvajna and Sarvavitu. That's what in the Upanishad talks about in the Mundaka Upanishad. He is Sarvajna and Sarvavitu. Both mean the same, but he not only knows the whole world of creation, and also he knows the Brahman knowledge also. So therefore, he knows I am the totality, at the same time he knows the individual. Therefore, the Upanishad uses two words, Sarvajnaha and Sarvavitu. Sarvavitu is, he knows everything else, and Sarvajnaha, he means he is the totality itself, and that is Brahman, Brahmajnaha. So the jivas who are born in a particular, including devas also. So including devas, they are Parakdarsinaha, Pratyak. They essentially, the their outlook is going outward because they want to enjoy. So because I am looking for, all the five senses are outwardly going. It's always going out, different things outside, and therefore they are Parakdarsinaha, and they are not Pratyak Tattvabodha Visarjitaha. So Pratyagatma, the inner self, they do not know. Now once that is subtler here, that subtle element of pure Satchidananda, which is subtle, they do not know. Remember the way we explained the reflection, pure consciousness, and the reflection of medium, which is Antakaranam, and the reflection Pratibimba, and that Siddhabhasa along with the mind is now going with the senses outside instead of turning itself to higher to see what is that because of which I am conscious of, what is that because of which I am existing. That it cannot show. So inner darshanam, so Pratyak Tattva Bodha, the essential truth about Tattvam, one's own self, is Visarjitaha, having given up because not knowing my own, that's Mula Vidya, and is only looking for outside. So for that, I have to turn inwards to inquire within what exactly my nature has to be done. And that's why am I looking outside, and how do I gain? All that is explained in the next slokas. So here we have creation of the aspects. One is the Ishvara, Hiranyagarbha, and Virat Swarupam. From the point of individual, this is essentially Prajnaha, Tejas, and Vishwa. This is called the Vishwatam Yata. So we have three at the Vyashti level and three in the Samashti level, and this is essentially what is explained in the Mandukya Upanishad. So total experience of the waking state and the dream state and the deep sleep state, total human experience is taken into consideration in order to develop what exactly the real truth. So I don't take only 1/3 of my experience and neglect the rest of it and make a theory out of it, and that's what essentially all other philosophical traditions of Western philosophy, only taking a waking state as the basis to make a theory. Whereas the Vedanta considers that's only 1/3 of your human experience. You spend some time in the dream state and some time in the deep sleep state, so you have to include the total human experience in order to come up with a theory, and that's what is essentially the Mandukya Omkara analysis of that, which comes to the seventh mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad, summarizes the whole, called Chaturtham Manyamte Sa Atma Savijnaya. That which is Pratyagatma, that Tattva Bodha, which we have given up, has to be learned through the process of Vedanta Vichara. That's what he's going to tell in a few slokas. Now we get into the next sloka, which is 30, and it has 3 lines here in this book. So let's chant this. Kurvate karma bhogaya, kurvate karma bhogaya, karma kartum cha bhunjate, karma kartum cha bhunjate, nadyam kita iva vartad, nadyam kita iva vartad, avartantaramashute, avartantaramashute, vrajante janmano janma, Prajante janmanon janma labhante naiva nirvrutam. Labhante naiva nirvrutam. Together. Kurvate karma bhogaya karma kartum cha bhunjate najyam kita iva vartam avartantaramashute prajante janmano janma labhante naiva nirvrutam. So kurvate karma bhogaya. So kurvate karma bhogaya. So everyone performs an action, and for in every moment everybody performing an action. Naiva kinchit karom. That's not the sloka. That is a Krishna statement. See, essentially, naika chit chanamapi jatu tushtasya karma kratu karyate havisha karma prudate naihi. So, not even one moment one can remain without acting. He has to breathe, he has to do, even to live, he has to say, I'm not going to do. So what are you going to do? I'm going to just sit down. So sitting down is an action. So, and breathing is an action. What are you doing? I am breathing. Don't disturb me. You breathe unnecessarily. What else are you going to do? So, kurvate karma bhogaya. One performs an action to enjoy. So, why do I perform an action? Because I want to enjoy. So, why do I go to make coffee? Because I want to enjoy. So, everybody performs an action in order to gain something. What is that enjoyment? Because that having enjoyment, I'll be happy. So, I perform an action, and action will give me the result, and the result is hopefully is what I like. Therefore, I can enjoy. If the result is doesn't what I don't like, either I had to change my action or suffer the consequence of my action. So there are essentially the karma kartuncha bhunjati. So the karma kartuncha bhunjati. So there is a action again and again acts for enjoying the bhunjati. So for enjoying the results of the action, one keeps on performing the action again and again and again. Continuously one has to, from morning to the evening, day in and day out, and whole life itself, I'll be performing the action. Not performing the action is also performing an action. How? Because kartum sekyum, akartum sekyum, anyada kartum sekyum. I can do, I cannot do, I can do it differently. So not doing when doing is required is also, I am liable for that action. When I had to perform an action, when something is being, innocent person is being hurt, and I am just watching it, then not doing the action and watching itself without getting involved properly itself is a choice of action that I am using it, and therefore I am responsible or accountable for that action also. So every action, every moment I am responsible. So one cannot but act. So karma kartuncha bhunjati. So then what happens? There are two results that are coming, and one has to be careful here. When I perform an action, then there is a tangible result, there is an intangible result, and both are happening, and the results are given by one who gives the results, that is essentially by the laws of action, by the laws of creation, and the laws of creation is Ishvara. Ishvara is the author of those. So by performing an action, I have to enjoy the result. So if I have a stone here, I have choice for performing an action. Karmani eva adhikaraste. I have choice in performing. But once I perform an action, I have no more choice in dictating the results of the action. Once I have a stone, if I can throw this side, I can throw that side, I can throw other side, I can throw up, I can throw down, whatever I have choice. But once I have thrown it, the results are dictated by the laws, a gravitational force, the frictional force, and all that. All that is essentially depends upon the Ishvara. I cannot change those laws to suit my result I want. I can see that how my action is giving that result. From that I can know what kind of laws are there, and I can adjust my action next time and perform the action better. That's why if I have a ball and I want to put it in the basket, and if I throw this side, next time I have to compensate, and if I overcompensate, I may go to other side. By trial and error, I may perfect myself to how to throw the ball into the basket. All that is why I am only throwing. How it goes and the trajectory is not determined by me, determined by the laws. I am only learning how to use the laws so that I can get the results that are conducive to my liking. All that is implied. Karmani eva adhikarasti ma phaleshu kadachana. So there is a tangible result when I perform an action, and there is an intangible also result that leaves an impression in the mind that I like it and I don't like it. So depending upon the results, I may enjoy the result or I may not like it. I wanted to make a good sambar, but it didn't turn out, so I may not like it at all, even though I spend all the time in that, because something went wrong. But next time I know how to adjust it, and I may become better expert in the term. So cooking is also trial and error. So here I'm not talking about cooking, but every action has its result, and the result can be likable or unlikable, and that result leaves an impression in the mind to repeat it if I like it, to avoid it if I don't like it. So that what is called raga dvesha, and which is called vasanas. Vasanas means subtle impressions that are left in the mind, and that is the second aspect of the karma. So every time I perform the action, I cannot but avoid, one is tangible result, another intangible result. And gives a classical example is drinking cup of coffee, because I didn't come into this world with a cup of coffee. So somebody gave me a cup of coffee and I enjoyed it, and because I enjoyed momentarily the cup of coffee, all right, but it left the impression that I want to repeat that experience. And next time I want to know how we make a coffee, all the recipe I got, and I bought coffee powder, everything else, and started making, and every time I enjoy it, leaving an impression, and the impression becomes a stronger and a stronger and a stronger. So every day, first thing in the morning, I want to have a cup of coffee, I enjoy it. Next day, if I don't have a cup of coffee, I feel miserable, because the vasanas I want coffee, I want coffee, I want coffee, I want coffee. It's vasanas, the subtle impressions that are left, which is essentially results of the action, leaves a desire in my mind. So vasanas or become at the intellect level as a desire, and at the mind level agitations, because I become restless unless that desire is fulfilled. And at the body level action, go to the kitchen, make a coffee, if it's not there, go outside, go to a shop and drink coffee. Until that coffee comes, my mind is restless. And when the mind has a cup of coffee, then it's peaceful, shantam. And shantam is happiness. When the mind is quiet and complete, the reflection of the Ananda also occurs when the antakaranam is calm and quiet. So essentially, I become, in this case, I am becoming a slave to this called bandhakatvam. First of all, dukkha mistrithatvam, and the kshanikatvam and bandhakatvam. These are the three doshas in having enjoyment of the world through bhogas. So what's wrong in enjoying? Let's have maja, and you can enjoy it and get happiness in this way. And ultimately you reach a stage where you need a more intense enjoyment in order to get it. And at the same time, other people also want the same thing, and they will deprive you because they want it, and the number of things are limited, and they get before you, and you are sorry. So the disappointments come. So it's a process of dukkha mistrithatvam. It's a pain in getting it, and pain in preserving it, and pain if you lose it also. So I want $1 million, I struggled hard because I want wealth, so enjoy, I struggled hard, now I have the money and I'm bringing the money, somebody comes and steals it, now that's gone. So I want to preserve it, and I'll cry if I lose it. All that is dukkha mistrithatvam in all these pleasures. And this also kshanikatvam. If I have, say, if I have a cup of coffee, I am peaceful. That peace doesn't stand unless I want cookie also along with the idli or something else I want in order for me to enjoy. So I want something else for me to be peaceful, for me to be myself. So it is kshanikatvam, or it is only lasts certain time. And the third one is it's a bandhakatvam. Now I depend on it for my happiness. So that is bondage, and that's what becomes a samsara. And that's what he's going to tell us. Karma kartunja bhunjati. So the karma is both as action, and also karma is the results of the action that are left behind as the ragadveshas. Those are essentially the vasanas, and I have to go enjoy or exhaust those vasanas. So I seek an environment that is conducive to my likes, avoid the environment that is not conducive, or I hate things that I avoid it. And everybody is going wherever their vasanas are driving them towards that environment. That's why rat race came, only picture, because I want this to be happy, I want that to be happy, I want this to be happy, and number of things I have is long, many, and there is not enough time. Even 24 hours is not sufficient for me to run after things, and so on and so forth. All that is. If I don't have the vasanas, then my mind doesn't have that many ragadveshas. I am calm and quiet most of the time. That means I am happy by myself. Therefore, Atmani eva Atmana tushtaha. He is happy by himself. He doesn't have to run around to get happiness. He is contented mind. Comforts are different from happiness. One can have comfortable life but unhappy life. So air conditioned, everything and all that, but people cannot still sleep because he is miserable, his mind is disturbed. He may be sleeping on the Dunlop or the AC and all that, but still cannot sleep. The other fellow will be sleeping in the hard floor without any problem. It may be too hot outside, but once he goes to sleep, he doesn't care what it is outside. He is enjoying the sleep also. So happiness doesn't depend upon the comforts. Comforts makes life better only. But if you depend on that, then it becomes unhappy also. So what should I do? Should I avoid comforts? Should I avoid all the pleasures? No, that's not Vedanta. He doesn't say. You don't depend on it for your happiness. If it comes, it comes. If it goes, it goes. Enjoy it, both the coming and going of it. That which is coming, you know it's going to go, so whatever it is, enjoy as long as you are there. If it is not, if the unhappiness is coming, okay, it's also going to go. So, okay, watch it, okay, this is my part of my prarabdha, let it go. Enjoy the suffering also. That means you become detached. So, this suffering is, thinks, this fellow is useless fellow, let me go to some other place and make his life miserable. So life after, because I am accumulating these vasanas, and that is essentially the vasanas that I accumulate which I cannot enjoy in this life, that I put it into my bank account, and that becomes a samashti vasanas, the total vasanas of all of myself, and which only I bring into this life only particular vasanas that can be exhausted in this particular body. Because body is also given to enjoy. So a package of vasanas that can be exhausted in this body are only put together as a package, and I am born in a particular conducive environment to exhaust those vasanas, and that's called prarabdham. Prarabdha means set of vasanas from the total that I brought in. And as a human being, I am having a will to act, therefore I deliberately perform the action. So even though vasanas are propelling me to act, I can go against my own vasanas because I have a will. It may be difficult, but it is a will. So even though vasanas wants me to go and slap everybody, he says, no, that's not the right thing to do, and I can redirect in spite of the vasanas, I can redirect my mind against the pressure of the vasanas, and that is essentially Shaknoti Haiva Shodam Praksharira Vimokshana. And whoever has a Shakti, they withstand the pressure of the vasanas, so says, I can go against the stream of vasanas. So Swamiji gave a beautiful example. The vasana is like a river going in the water, but if it is just a log, then it go along with the river. There is nothing you can do about it. But if I put a motor to it, then I can go even against the stream. It may be difficult, but I can go against the stream, and if it is 10 miles is going and my motor can take 12 miles, I may going at 2 mile speed against the stream also. So that going against is essentially going against the flow of my vasanas. That intellect is given to a human being, and therefore he has the capacity to withstand the pressure of the vasanas and redirect. So what I have is prarabdha, and what I do with what I have is purushartha. So I have a will to go against my own prarabdha, and therefore I can redirect my life. From now on, I want to turn my mind to inward to find out what is the need. So that's why parikshalokan karmachidan brahmano nirvedamayan nascha krutakrutena tad vijnanartham sagurumeva abhigatse samitpanihi sotriyam brahmanishtam. The one who has parikshalokan, who has examined his life and thinks that I am not getting what I want in this life, all these pressures are only temporarily, I want permanent eternal happiness that I am longing for, which is not there outside in any object. So he has to turn his mind inwards, and for that only I have to go to tad vijnanartham sagurum eva abhigatse. For that you have to approach a teacher to learn. So essentially, kurvate karma bhogaya karma kartum cha bunjate. So every jiva is going through the stream of these vasanas, and life after life after life, say punarapi maranam, punarapi janam. So I accumulate new vasanas, and that which cannot be exhausted, I put it into my sanchita karma total account, and that can be exhausted, essentially agami karma. All that sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma, life and life, my account is going so much. But once I realize that I am not the body, mind, intellect, I am something else beyond, all the vasana sanchita karma can burn in no time. And the Bhagavan Ramananda gives a simple example. Say, how am I going to exhaust all that? Says nothing. The fire can burn away even the mountain of cotton that is there that I am carrying. So it is subtle that I can destroy the whole by the jnanam, and jnanena, by the knowledge that I am not this and I am the pure. This doesn't belong to me anymore because it's not real. It's only mithya. That understanding will uplift my mind. So here says Nadyam Kita Eva Vartat Avartantaramasude Rajante Janmano Janma Labante Naiva Nirvrutam. So every time I accumulate new vasanas, and therefore life after, and therefore this is the beginningless cycle set. So what was the beginning? The avidya. Avidya means I do not know myself, and I take myself what I am not as I am myself, and therefore I am not happy with the limitations of my body, my intellect. Therefore I want to become limitless because that's my nature. But I want to become limitless by adding this and adding that and all that, and become essentially more get entangled in the world of plurality. So vasanas are not only tangible result, but intangible vasanas, the subtle impressions on the mind that makes me to be born again and again and again, more accumulation, more jiva, more all that. So Nadyam, it is like in the river, Kita eva vartad. A whirlpool is there in the river, and the kita insect got caught in this, going on round and round and round and round and round. So say everybody is running around. The whole life itself is nothing but all the people are running around for what? To get happiness. Where it's not there, where it is there. So it is a life becomes a struggle. They are searching for happiness, and the happiness is not there where they are searching, and they got caught up in that, and they cannot get out of it. This is a problem. Avartantaramashate. Vartad avartanta. They go from one whirlpool to another whirlpool to another whirlpool. Insect got from, suddenly you go to next one. So life after life after life after life, you are essentially Rajante Janmano Janma. So Rajante. So essentially the experiencing or moving around, the perpetual motion essentially, continuously keep moving, Rajanti, Janmano Janma, one life after life after life after life, and Lavante Naiva Nirvrutam, and never getting what you want. What do you want? I want eternal, infinite happiness. I'm not looking for Sat, I'm not looking for Chid. Because I know I exist, I know I am conscious entity. What I don't know is I am full. I am Brahman. Brahman means infinite. Infiniteness is limitless. That I do not know I am Brahman. I am Jiva. Now that means I know I exist, I know I am conscious. Only the Jiva part is the third part, which is Ananda, is not there. So Aham Jivaha, or I am Jiva. So I know partially. That's why partial knowledge is the one that causes a problem. Ignorance of, if I don't know either it's a rope or a snake, no problem. If it is a complete knowledge, there is no problem. I know it's a rope or a snake. If it is a snake, I avoid. If it is a rope, I have no problem. Either way, complete knowledge will not be a problem. Only partial knowledge, remember, bhanepi abhan. I know it, but I don't know it. I know enough to make a mistake. I know enough of myself to commit errors. And that's essentially what a human being is. So, Vrajante Janmano Janma, Lavante Naiva Nirvrutam. So, never get the liberation from this samsara. Samsara is going life after life. Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam, Jataro Sayanam, Yasamsare, Bahudustare, Krupaya Pare, Pahimurare. The Bhajagovindam says, Janma, this every time born in some place, going, and I have to go through schooling again and learning again process, all these 9 years I have to go through suffering, and again I am born again. So where is the end of it? That's essentially when I get that knowledge, when the inquisitiveness says that Vijnanartham sa gurumeva vigatset. Once I recognize that this life is not giving me this pursuit, this running in cycles around is not giving me the thing that I want, then I go to approach a teacher, he says. So here, the Vrajante Janmano Janma. So here we are talking about a recreation, the reincarnation, all that is coming out because of the not knowing what I am. So what is the fundamental problem? Fundamental problem is I don't know who I am. I don't know that I am already Satchidananda. I am pure existent consciousness, limitless. I am already happy. So I know only I am existent and conscious entity, but I am a full, and therefore I want to become full because that is my nature, but I don't know. So I am searching for, so finite cannot become infinite. But I am already infinite. But if I am already infinite, then why am I searching? But I don't know that I am infinite. So it is bhanepi abhane. I know enough to make a mistake, and that has to be understood. So therefore, the janma to janma to janma is because of not knowing the fundamental ignorance is that I do not know myself. That is the fundamental ignorance, mula vidya. I don't know this object, that object. The ignorance of any object is called a tula vidya. Ignorance of my own self is mula vidya. Why it is mula? Because it's a fundamental, the very basic, because of which all other things come into picture. Even the other object that I don't know is only because of the creation. Creation is because of the whole process that came into picture of maya, avidya and all that. So how should I act? How should I act is going to be described, but in principle, if I understood that I am pure Satchidananda, then I don't act because I am full already. But action can go on at the body, mind, intellect, because everybody has to act at the body, mind, intellect. So if while acting that I can see that I am not acting, because body, mind, intellect is part of the Prakriti. Pragucheva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvasaha yah pasyati tadatmanam akartaram sa pasyati. Krishna says Prakriti is doing all the actions because body, mind, intellect is acting. But let the body, mind, intellect act because of the prarabdha karma. It is acting. But I am not acting, so I don't own the actions. I can watch. Let the body, mind, intellect. So, karmani eva akarmaya pasyet. In the action, I can be inactive when the action is going on. And that's essentially is process of means of liberation. We'll go into more details as in terms of how a jnani acts, how ajnani acts, what's the difference, and how I can go from ajnanam to jnanam, and who is a jivan mukta, and what is the Ishvara. All these things gets cleared once we understand the basics. With that, we will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Finish. Huh? Srinivasan Master. Amma illa.